they go? Dad?
You're listening to Scotty and Andrew, and this is Fun with Horror.
Hello, I'm Scotty.
And I'm Andrew.
And you're listening to episode number 81 of Fun with Horror, the almost weekly podcast in which my best buddy Andrew and I take turns giving each other movies to watch, and then we discuss them the following week.
We have two rules here at Fun with Horror. The first, whoever picks the movie has to pick one they've never seen. Rule number two, we both gots to watch it.
Last week, it was my pick, and I chose the not quite found footage movie, but very low budget movie, Skinamarink, directed by Kyle Edward Ball.
And of course, please stick around to the end of the episode because you get to hear what I choose for our next movie.
I can't wait.
Yay.
As long as you do it in that voice.
In a world.
Oh, man.
Oh, buddy. Hi, bud.
How are you? Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. This is a week for you, isn't it?
It is a week, man. This is going to be a long week for me, but it'll be nice to be done.
It is one of the few weeks behind the scenes.
Yep.
One of the few times that we've ever, I think maybe we did it once where we're recording on Monday.
Yes.
The night before this episode goes live.
Yeah, dude. I know.
I get to edit after this and have some fun.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. But
I know,
before we made a promise, my friend.
I bet I know this is, yes.
Yeah. So last week, the unrated version of Megan came out, and I watched the entire movie.
Dude, how was it? I haven't watched it yet, not the unrated.
So here's the thing, and this is, I kind of feel like it's a case where I watched it, so a lot of people don't have to if they don't want to watch the whole thing.
Okay. All right.
Friend of the show, Brad, even texted me, and he's like, yeah, I know it's out, but unfortunately, I already watched it. I don't think I'm going to watch it again just for the new stuff. And so I texted him after I watched it to let him know what was different.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Without spoilers, I'm not going to spoil it here.
Okay.
But basically, in my opinion, this is the movie that absolutely should have been released.
Okay. Yeah.
Something it drove something home for me that I didn't really say in our last episode.
Okay.
I know I mentioned that I thought that the movie should have been rated R.
Right. Yeah.
But the thing that the PG-13 version reminded me of was when a R-rated movie is censored for television.
Totally. Yep.
After you see the R-rated version or the unrated version, it's basically R. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
Once you see the unrated version, you'll see what I mean. It makes it feel even more like this is the version that was the golden child version. And they censored it for, to be released in PG-13, and it's a shame.
Right.
David, the boss, throws out the F-bomb quite a bit more.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Which makes his character more believable, I guess. I don't know. I thought his character was a little bit better with the F-bomb throwing out.
Yeah, okay. I get that.
Megan even throws out an F-bomb at a certain point, which is kind of cool.
Awesome.
Otherwise, here's the cool thing.
The
entire movie that you saw,
that
everybody saw, is the exact same movie. Nothing has changed in the movie except that the kills have more gore to them.
Which we kind of were I think that's what we talked about. Is that was what we were hoping for? Is we get to see a little more. So good. That's awesome. Okay.
Exactly. Nothing. There's no new kills or anything like that.
Cool. Okay.
And I don't mind spoiling this.
Okay.
You don't see anything, nothing extra with the dog.
Oh, okay. All right. Good. Yep.
So
Yep. Well,
everything you saw with the dog in the PG-13 version is the same with this one.
Okay. Well, good. Yeah, I feel like they get it. We don't need that. People don't like that. Cool. Okay.
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So yeah, I enjoyed watching it again though. It was I do like that movie a lot, like we said last week. So
yeah.
It was a good time. Now I've seen it about 3 times. I think I'm good for a while.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's about it for me. What about you? Anything? You've just been busy, huh?
Yeah. I've just been super busy. So not much on the, I'm all work and no play makes Andrew a dull boy right now. So
You're never dull.
well, thank you.
Do you know how amazing it's going to be for everybody to hear your voice tomorrow? Or today. I mean, what? Hey,
that's right. Yeah. That's
hey,
right.
hey, wait, hey, Skinamarink. Hey,
it's so early. It's 5:00 right now. That's when we release the episode.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, I just said the segue. I have no segue for a movie called Skinamarink. I kind of just tried to throw it out as a random word.
Well, I think we can.
The segue.
I think this, like the song, we can end it with "I love you."
Oh, Skinamarink-a-dink-a-dink. I love you.
I love you.
In this house. In this house. In this house. In this house. In this house.
Boy, buddy, this is quite an interesting movie. I know people are kind of talking about it for various reasons, which of course we're going to dive into tonight or today at 5 a.m. Call back. But before we, of course, dive into this, everyone, if you have not seen Skinamarink, which is on Shudder, or you can rent and purchase as well. But if you've not seen it, this is your spoiler warning. We are going to talk about this movie. So if you're okay with spoilers, stick around. If you're not, go get Shudder, rent it, buy it, whatever you need to do, and then come on back here and listen to the rest of the episode. But that is your spoiler warning.
Beautiful.
Thanks, pal. But of course, as we always do in every episode, we need a little recap of this movie, man. And I think you're just the guy for it.
Yeah, I definitely had to try and practice this one to get it under 3 minutes, and I still don't know if I can do it. But before I start, I do want to say, just as a little caveat here, this 3-minute recap, I'm not going to go into what the hidden meanings of the movie might be, the theories. This is going to be surface level.
Okay.
What the movie seems to be portraying. So, are you ready, buddy?
I'm ready, dude. Are you ready?
I think so. All right.
Well,
here we go.
Take it away when you're ready, bud.
Yep. All right. So,
I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime.
Skinamarink takes place entirely in a house. There's all these different camera angles. At the beginning of the house, we're introduced to 2 children, Kaylee and Kevin. Their parents seem to be home. At a certain point, Kevin seems to fall down the stairs. And I'm going to be saying seems to a lot because it's up to interpretation.
Hmm.
He seems to fall down the stairs, and you hear him crying, and then door shuts, car starts, and then the next thing is you hear his dad on the phone saying that, yeah, Kevin fell down the stairs, but he's okay, hit his head. But however, even though he says that, the next thing is Kaylee and Kevin seem to suddenly wake up and the parents are not there. They go downstairs. They decide that they're going to sleep downstairs with the TV on, with a VHS playing in the TV, constantly looping these old 30s cartoons and stuff. Before long, they start to hear noises upstairs. Voices start to talk to them. And weird stuff starts to happen. Kaylee is told to go upstairs, where she seems to see her dad sitting on the side of the bed, who tells her to look under the bed. When she looks back up, her dad's gone, her mom's there. Her mom tells her to go back downstairs, and then her mom seems to go into the bathroom where a noise happens, and who knows. Although, yeah, bones cracking is all I'm going to say right now. Kaylee goes downstairs, and then not too long after that, she kind of disappears. Kevin is then alone. The voice tells Kevin to, at one point, to take a utility knife and slice his eye and stick it in his eye. Kevin seems to do so. The voice tells Kevin that Kaylee didn't do what she was told, so it had to take her eyes and mouth away. Kevin calls 911, it seems like, but then after the call, he drops the phone before the call is even over, and then suddenly the phone seems to be a toy phone. Things happen. Kevin goes upstairs. He does what the voice tells him to. Then he's suddenly on the ceiling. Then there's a long hallway. All his toys are bunched up at the end of the hallway, and there is a little caption that says 572 days. So it seems like this has been going on for a while. Some other weird stuff happens, which we'll get into, but at the very end, you see darkness. You see a voice, a face, very indistinct in the darkness, and a voice says, "Go to sleep." And Kevin twice says, "What is your name? What's your name?" And then the movie ends. Skinamarink,
Wow.
ladies and gentlemen.
Good job, buddy. Yeah, that was well done. That was a interesting movie to do a 3-minute recap. So I think you got it, though. I think you nailed it, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. Whew. All right. Well, of course. What did you think of this movie, man?
Your face right now. So let's talk about how we watched it.
Okay.
Now, I know you have a little bit less freedom with the baby and all.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it one night with the lights turned out and headphones on, because I actually put headphones on because I could hear ambient noises like downstairs. And yeah, so I put headphones on. And the first time I saw it, now this is the first time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what, buddy? I didn't care for it.
Okay.
I thought it was boring. I kept waiting for the ball to drop as it will.
Mm-hmm.
I kept waiting for something scary because people said this was a scary movie, and I hate that. I hate that so much. I try not to get my expectations up.
Yeah.
But when people start talking about, ooh, how scary this movie is, I want it to be scary.
Yeah.
Even though I try and hold those expectations back.
Yeah.
Now, before I go on,
Mm-hmm.
how did you watch it the first time? Well, the only time.
The only time. During the day, because I don't have time. So during the day, not with headphones, but just on my TV, not on
baby in front of you.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Or yep. For part of it, but quiet. He was good during it. So.
And if I'm right, you had to watch it in 2 sittings.
I did. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And what did you think?
Let's
a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay.
I sent you.
Oh yes. Yeah.
I sent you an article.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted you to read on theories. I wanted you to read I wanted you to know what to expect because I understood that I expected something different from what the movie was.
Right.
And I really I warred with myself inside my head thinking, what should I tell Andrew? Should I warn him or should I let him go in blind? And after you watched one half of it and I could hear your reaction already, I was like, I gotta tell him at least the second half not to expect anything more.
Right. Yes.
So, I mean, what did you think?
I, we try and be positive on this podcast, and
It's
I will
okay.
say my positives, but I did not like this movie.
Okay.
At all.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I didn't think you would.
Yeah.
I felt bad that I picked it. It was one of those.
Don't feel bad. I mean, we'd heard a lot about it, or
Yeah,
just
yeah.
word of mouth. So of course we're gonna watch it.
But at this time and place, and once again, I'm just going to say, you don't have a lot of time in this world.
Yeah.
I mean, in this world you do, but
right. I hope
I don't
so.
mean to say it. He's not dying, everybody.
No.
You don't have a lot of time right now because you're busy with work and a baby. And I was like, I saw this movie, I watched it, and I was like, oh, man, this is going to be 2 hours of Andrew's life wasted. You were gonna feel like the chef in the menu.
That was exactly how I felt. No joke. I thought about that. I was like, I feel totally.
No spoilers, but
that was exactly my thought. I was like, this is just like Ray Fiennes. So yeah.
So let's
have that feeling.
Moving on from our first viewing. I then have to say that I knew I was going to sit down and I was going to watch this movie again.
Right.
To take notes for our podcast here.
And
an interesting thing happened. I watched this movie on my iPad.
Right.
Bluetooth speaker. A little portable Bluetooth speaker. And I know people say, oh, it was such a cool experience in movie theaters and sitting with a crowd and blah, blah, blah. I think, and I will never say this about any other movie probably, I think the best way to watch this movie is on an iPad. Something small.
Yeah.
Where the grain that they CG'd in to this movie doesn't take up every image so that you're trying to figure out what you're looking at.
Right.
And I also knew what to expect.
Right.
So the second time I watched the movie, I was sitting there deciphering it. And that was fun. It was more fun to sit and decipher what I had already seen than to watch this movie the first time, waiting for something scary to happen.
Nice. Okay.
So I will say that I now, after 2 viewings, I actually kind of like this movie.
Right on.
I will not recommend it to anybody. I will tell people that if they want to see it, be prepared. It's not it wasn't that scary to me.
No. Yeah.
I'm just going to try and prepare people. That's what it comes down to.
I think, good guy Scotty right there. Yeah.
Good guy Scotty. Yeah. I mean, here, great example. Girlfriend Mary. She wanted to see it. And she was house sitting at the time.
Right on.
When I watched it, and I was like, I will watch it again with you. After I watched it, I said, it's a good thing you didn't watch this movie with me. You would not have liked it. You would have been bored.
Interesting.
Now, if she still wants to see it at some point, that's great. And I will be like, yeah, sure, go for it. But so I guess let's get into it a little bit, buddy.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Let me ask you this, because we're going to get into theories and interpretations and all that. Have you ever had sleep paralysis?
I never have, actually. I've read lots about it because I find it very fascinating, but I've never actually experienced it myself. Have you?
It is fascinating. I have had, I would say, it's kind of mid-level sleep paralysis.
Okay. Interesting.
In that I will be having a dream, and it's almost always if I'm not always laying on my back, but most of the time it's if I'm laying on my back.
Okay.
The dream will always have, no matter where I am, it'll have this characteristic of darkness where I can't make out things.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times I've had a dream, like, here's a specific one as an example, a dream where I knew I was laying in my bed. I feel myself laying on my back.
Mm-hmm.
There's darkness at the edge of my bed.
Mm-hmm.
And I know somebody is standing right there at the end of my bed, but I cannot see that figure.
Yikes. Okay.
And I try to wake myself up and I can't.
Yeah.
And these are the times where I will purposely try and make noise in my dream to alert Mary to wake me up.
Wow,
And
dude.
I know from experience, because I've heard Mary do it, that it is the creepiest sound, somebody laying next to you trying to make noises in their dream to get you to wake them up. It is the creepiest sound in real life.
Oh my god. Wow. Now I want to hear it.
So sleep paralysis is one. I ask you this because this is one reason I now actually think this is a really good movie.
Okay.
Because this movie very much conveys a lot of the feelings that I get when I have sleep paralysis.
Interesting. Okay. I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Not being able to make out things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just the whole movie felt like this weird dream once I started thinking about it.
Okay.
You never can make out, you never see their faces.
Right.
You never see Kevin and Kaylee.
Right.
You never see any entity.
Right.
When you see their parents, when their parents are in the room, you never see their faces. You don't see anything.
Right.
And let me tell you, when Kaylee is in the bedroom and she sees the figure of her dad sitting on the edge of the bed and then her mom, it's hard to make them out in the picture.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. Yep.
That's what it's like in sleep paralysis.
Creepy, dude.
At least in my experience.
Wow. I've heard of people though, like a lot of stories are very similar with sleep paralysis where I don't remember. I watched some documentary about it, but they all said
The
it's
nightmare.
like, yeah, like the same. It's a guy with like a top hat or something, and many people have seen the same being, and I'm like, that's creepy, man. That's weird.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that, you know?
Yeah.
I think people just see a figure.
Right.
And they give it the same characteristics. That's my belief. But
Fair.
if people believe that they're seeing the same figure that somebody else saw, the same exact person in their sleep paralysis dream, I'm not going to take that away from them.
Right.
This movie was directed by Kyle Edward Ball. I forget if the article that I sent you mentioned this, but he started out, he did a project on Reddit where he asked people what their childhood nightmares were.
Yep. Yeah, it did. Yeah.
And supposedly he made, I only saw one, but supposedly he made multiple shorts that envision these nightmares.
Oh, cool. Right on. Yeah.
And one of them was a 30-minute short called Heck. And in this short, there is a little boy who wakes up and his mom is not there. I can't remember. I just watched it like last week too. But it's kind of like Skinamarink, but he's stuck in this house.
Okay.
But he does keep going to sleep. Like instead of days, it says 3 sleeps.
Okay.
10 sleeps. So he's stuck in this house. And that's, man, there's lots of interpretations of this movie, buddy. But two of my clues, my biggest clue is the name of that short, even though Ball said that this was inspired by the short, but different subject matter.
Right. Okay.
The short is called Heck, which is a child name for hell.
Right. Yeah.
And so the short, Kyle said, is definitely supposed to be somebody in their own personal hell, stuck in hell, a nightmare.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So that kind of felt pretty clear to me.
Right.
Interesting. What do you think of that?
No, I mean, it makes sense. Because even what does the entity say at the end? Like, wake up, or no.
Go to sleep.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Yeah. So I think, I mean, that makes sense that it's like a dream sleep. I agree with that.
The prevailing theory is that at some point Kevin fell down the stairs and hit his head.
Right. Yes.
And contrary to what his dad says on the phone, he is actually in a coma.
Mm-hmm.
And in this coma, he's experiencing a nightmare, which when I think about that, like, this movie doesn't scare me, but when I think about that, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
To be stuck in a nightmare, and if, going by the caption at the end, 572 days.
Right. Yeah.
To be stuck in that for that many days.
Right.
Is a terrifying thought.
No, I agree. For a year and a half to be in that sounds like a personal hell. I mean,
yeah,
really, yeah.
Does the theory? So there's one main theory,
and
the other theory that makes sense to me also is that he's dead, and this is hell.
Okay,
this is what happens after you die.
Yeah,
and that's terrifying. Also,
yeah. I get that one. I actually like the coma.
Well, yeah,
better.
I mean, we don't want the kid to be dead.
Exactly, dead and in hell.
But at the same time, he never, going by the movie, he never wakes up.
Right.
Like, the movie shows all this time has passed, and it also portrays really interestingly the hell that would be a child's hell, as opposed to what like an adult's hell would be, probably so many other things.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I actually get that. Yeah.
But a 4-year-old kid who hasn't seen much except for the inside of his house,
right, and toys and cartoons,
yeah, exactly.
Yep, that makes sense.
Exactly.
Huh.
More theories. More theories that go a little bit further.
Okay.
And I've seen both. There is a big interpretation of child abuse that I didn't get too far into these because I don't know. I thought they were interesting.
Okay.
But like one theory was that his dad was abusive, and
okay,
like his dad actually pushed him down the stairs, and that's why he's in a coma.
Okay. Yikes.
The other theory was that their mom was the abusive one.
Okay.
And clues to that are things that, like Kaylee says, there's the one part where, what does she say? She says something like, I don't want to talk about mom.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Why is mom crying? Like one of the kids says, why is mom crying? And then the other kid says, I don't want to talk about mom. So somebody took that and thought that maybe the mom was abusive.
Right. I get that. Yeah.
And that maybe this was not in the whole coma theory. This was the nightmare that the kids were experiencing because of abuse.
Wow. Yikes.
So
it's dark.
It is dark. It was a much darker movie than I thought it was.
Yeah.
If you think about theories, if you don't think of just surface level of that these kids woke up and their parents are gone and
right.
There's a entity in the house messing with them.
Right. I think my favorite though of those, I like the coma. I think that one makes the most sense to me.
Yeah.
And the one I like the best, just with how this movie was made. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, the movie, it's just so interesting. What else?
Has the director talked at all about any of it, or is he kind of
he's refused to?
Wow.
He says he has an interpretation in his head. He's got what it means to him.
Okay.
But he wants everybody to have their own theories.
Okay. Right on.
because he actually thinks some of them are better than his own. And yeah.
Right on. Okay. I respect that. I think that's fun.
Yeah, I watched an interview with him after a screening. It was him and Patton Oswalt. And
Oh, random.
yeah, I guess Patton was a fan of the movie and interviewed the director. And yeah, the guy, Kyle was saying something to the effect that he was reading theories online and there was one that just blew his mind. Like, and he didn't say what it was because I guess he still wanted to let everybody think for themselves, you know?
Yeah. Oh man, that leaves me wanting to know what it is, though. Dang it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Well, gosh. I mean, if he liked it that much, it'd be cool if he used whoever it was on his next film or something as like a, I don't know. That'd be cool.
Yeah, totally. Now here's something else I was going to tell you, buddy.
Yeah.
So
Oh no.
let me go back to the beginning of this year.
Okay.
I made a decision
Oh boy.
that,
Okay.
you know, you always tell me that you appreciate the research that I do.
Yes.
I decided that I wanted to go further sometimes.
Right. Yes.
And it was mostly spurred on by doing Christmas Bloody Christmas.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Because we talked about that movie and we mentioned a couple of other movies the director had done. And
Mhm.
both of us were like, yeah, I haven't seen it.
Right.
So
Yes.
maybe, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? There's times like that. Like, I feel like I should have watched one of those movies at least.
Right. I get that. Yeah.
So I decided that this year and
Okay.
moving forward, I'm going to, when I can, do extra research for some of the movies we do,
Okay. Right on.
just so I could talk about some things. And one of the things that I want to talk about was Skinamarink. I don't really know if I need to talk about it, to be honest, but I heard some comparisons to another movie,
Interesting.
a
Okay.
movie I had never seen. And that movie is David Lynch's Eraserhead.
I've seen parts of Eraserhead. I've never seen the whole movie.
Yeah, I asked. That's why I texted you that one
Yeah.
day. I'm like, wait, have you seen it?
No.
I always forget. And it's
I know.
because
Yeah.
you watched the shorts and
Right,
the David
yeah,
Lynch
yeah.
shorts were so disturbing to you. You're like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, that's right. And also I just don't know. David Lynch, I know, makes, I guess the word is experimental movies. Like this is like an experimental movie. And it's not necessarily my genre. I'm not like a necessarily big fan of experimental movies. So that's part of it as well. I've like I said, I've seen clips of Eraserhead and I thought it was very interesting. But I'm not sure I'm like running out to go get a copy. You know what I mean?
I just imagine you like running down the street like at a full sprint just to buy a copy of Eraserhead.
Like I need to get to the nearest Blockbuster.
Wait, there's only one left and it's in Oregon.
Hey, I'm close there.
Oh, you are actually. Just all you gotta do is run straight over Mount Rainier. And
Yeah, that's fine. It's a quick
there you go.
quick jog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it
lay it
Rainier or
on me.
Rainier?
Rainier. We call it
Thank
Rainier. Yeah.
Damn it. I always get it wrong. I always
Wait,
think
what'd
I'm
you
getting
say?
it right. Rainier.
No, just Rainier.
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 Ray is near to me right now. Rainier.
That doesn't help.
Okay, well I tried.
It's where you put the emphasis. Is it on Rainier or is it Rainier?
Be like
The first
Rainier. Rainier.
Yeah, the second syllable. Okay,
Yeah,
I got to remember that from now on.
Yeah.
Once every
Rainier.
podcast, I'm going to mention that mountain and say it correctly.
Good. Yes, please. For the rest of this year.
Yeah.
Slide Rainier in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, cool. So
Well,
anyway,
yeah,
so
lay it
I
on me.
actually, I was like, I've never seen Eraserhead, and I've always kind of wanted to.
Yeah.
So I ordered the Criterion Collection Blu-ray of
Right
Eraserhead,
All right.
and I watched it, and I really have nothing to say. Like,
Okay.
I can see the comparisons, I guess.
Okay.
It's an experimental movie, as you
Right.
said.
Yeah.
Skinamarink is an experimental movie, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
Eraserhead has some excellent cinematography, though.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I also understand it much less than I understand Skinamarink.
Wow. Okay. All right.
But see, going off on a tangent here, and I'm not going to spoil Eraserhead, everybody, so don't
Right.
worry.
Yeah.
That's one thing I like about David Lynch is that I don't understand a lot of the things he is trying to say in his movies, and that is
Right.
okay with me.
Nice.
I don't like, unlike other movies, I don't feel the need to delve further. And like I looked up some interpretations maybe,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but I wasn't really as into looking up those interpretations as I have been about Skinamarink.
Okay. No, that makes sense. Yeah. I like
So,
that.
but it was an interesting movie. You would not like it.
Yeah.
Actually,
No.
I don't know. I think you would appreciate the cinematography.
I like the song in it. I still think of that song every once in a while.
I forget the song.
In heaven, everything is fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. No worries. I don't want to spoil it because I don't know if that's a spoiler. So I just gave Scotty a motion.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
we're good at not spoiling. And there are a bunch of bonus features on that Blu-ray that I'm going to watch at some point. So,
Oh, right on. Oh,
We'll
that's
see.
my that brings up a question I did have
yeah,
earlier.
please.
With the I didn't look, but with the Skinamarink, what you bought, is there commentary?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I think it's
because
still
that would be
early
interesting.
release.
Okay.
If I remember right, Kyle did say he recorded a commentary,
Interesting.
and he
I'm
said it'll
cu-
be on the Blu-ray, so I'm pretty sure it'll be on my digital copy as well.
I would hope so.
But unfortunately, like Megan, we don't have that stuff, so we're left
Yeah.
talking about whatever.
Right. But I am curious. I'm very curious what that commentary is going to be like, especially if he wants to leave things to interpretation to the viewer.
Yeah.
So I'm curious.
I'm sure he'll talk about what great actors the little kids were.
All right. Their little voices. Well,
My notes for this movie
mhm.
are interesting because a lot of it is just recapping the movie, like all the different scenes,
Yeah.
so I could make sense of it in my head
Fair.
so that we could talk about it.
I like
Here's
it.
an interesting thing I wanted to tell you.
Mhm.
Movie takes place in 1995, first of all, right?
Yes.
That's what the subtitle at the beginning says.
Yep.
Did you notice in the trailer though? Because you said you watched the trailer.
I did watch the trailer. Yeah, the trailer was great, by the way.
It was pretty good.
I thought it was good. I thought it it didn't look like the movie we saw to me. Just the way I was like, oh man, this is gonna be some like hardcore stuff in this.
True. Well, at the end of the trailer, did you notice how it says coming 1973? And then it goes and the 1973 changes to 2023.
Yes. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
That was interesting to me.
Yeah. I don't get it.
I don't either.
Okay.
But interestingly enough, Kyle in that interview with Patton also mentioned that he wanted the house to look like the old houses from like 1973, and he dropped that date once again.
Huh.
Even though the house takes place, or the movie takes place in 1995, he wanted the house to look like houses from the 70s.
Interesting. What the heck?
Right? I don't know. What do you think about that? Anything? Put your Sherlock deciphering
I know. I'm
cap
trying to
on
think.
and
Like,
tell
does
me.
this? If we're going with the coma, theory, does this mean that maybe
Ooh,
this happened in 1973 and this has been 20
holy
years of this
crap,
happening?
dude.
I don't know.
You just blew my mind. I started thinking the same thing right as you said it.
Really?
And that is amazing. What
And it's-
if? Yeah, what?
And it's
oh my
gone to
God.
2023 even? Like maybe he's still in this coma 50
No, I
years
think that's
later.
just the movie.
All right, well. Should have quit
Settle
while I was
down there.
ahead. Yeah.
Settle down there, Andrew.
Damn it. I was
But
doing
no,
so good.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Because
that makes sense.
maybe, yeah, the house looks like it's in the 70s because everything happened in the 70s.
Right.
He hit his head in 1973,
Right.
but it's now 1995.
And that would explain older cartoons as well, from the
Yep.
30s, or you know what I mean? Because dates, I'm trying to think when Legos came out. I think it was 70s, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm almost positive.
Keep talking. I'm gonna
Okay.
look that up.
Yeah. And then like doll, I'm just trying to think everything that's in that house, which of course the house itself does look 70s, but then the toys, you have just a, basic, baby doll. So that can be any date. The cartoons are old enough so they would be there in the 70s. Legos would be the only one that I'm not sure of. I'm trying to think if
I'm
there was
looking
any
it up,
other
and
like.
it's hard to say. 1949. Okay, so yeah,
Okay, so that
Legos were
works.
definitely around.
Wow. So yeah, that theory can work.
And I'm aging myself here, but I was born in 1973,
Right on. Look at you.
and I definitely had that Fisher Price phone.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was the other
And-
toy. Gosh, we were just talking.
Yeah, that was the other toy.
Yes.
And just behind the scenes, before we started recording, I got an Amazon package, and I actually ordered that phone.
It's pretty cool, guys. It's pretty cool.
It is. It's very cool. I was
Yeah.
thinking of like just visiting Goodwill until I saw one used.
Yeah.
Then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get one, like a new one, because they look exactly the same.
Yeah. Yeah. I had one of
And
those
I
too,
would-
by the way.
Yeah, I think everybody did, right?
Yeah, I think so. They were everywhere.
I don't know if they have them now because kids won't know what that kind of a phone is.
Right. Oh,
You better teach Enzo what a rotary phone is.
we actually only have a rotary phone, so
Oh, good.
yeah, that's all he'll use. My cell phone is a rotary phone. It's it's not great. Texting is rough. Grr, grr, grr,
The Razor rotary.
yeah.
So that was interesting to me. Yeah.
Well, cool. Yeah, I like that theory. Then I think that's fun. It's sad, but
Here's the
But
other thing I
fun.
didn't tell you. When I told
Lay it on
you
me.
that I watched it on an iPad, the other thing I did,
Mhm.
and this is okay, buddy,
Wait
it's
on
going to
me,
be a
bud.
moment of love between you and I.
Okay. Yay.
Because once again, you and I were kind of in sync.
Yeah.
When I started watching it on my iPad, I did something I'd never do.
Uh-huh.
I turned on the subtitles. I never
Right.
turn on subtitles for domestic movies.
Mhm.
But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna turn on the subtitles and see what happens. And woo,
Yeah.
that is an interesting movie.
Yeah. Well, I think you mentioned one line at the beginning without delving
one?
into it. Bones crunching.
Yeah, yeah. So when the mom goes in the bathroom and there's there's noises, and when I'm just watching it without subtitles, they're just noises. It's like, oh, so she's doing something in the bathroom.
Mhm.
But yeah, the subtitles say bones cracking.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? What?
That's
So
messed up. Yeah.
that actually lends credence to maybe the dad was abusive.
Ooh, yeah, dude. Yeah. Yikes.
And this was just something that they heard was mom in the bathroom.
Ugh. Oh,
I don't know, man. That's a
that
little
breaks
disturbing.
my heart. Yeah. Jeez Louise, dude.
Well, the whole movie is disturbing if you think
Right,
about the whole
yeah.
coma theory. But here's the
Yeah.
thing that kind of shies away from the whole coma theory.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me what you think of this.
Okay.
Because there are definitely, speaking of the bedroom scene,
Mm-hmm.
there's definitely parts where we're seeing everything through Kaylee's eyes.
Right. Yep.
So can you explain that? If it's Kevin in a coma, is he just seeing through Kaylee's eyes, or what?
Hmm.
Is the entity showing him things through Kaylee's eyes? Because The entity
Yeah.
at a certain point does say Kaylee, and I have it all written down actually.
Well, wait. Do we know their ages? Both of
Yes.
theirs? Okay.
Yes, Kaylee is 6, Kevin is 4.
Okay. Because I was gonna say if they're twins, maybe it's like that.
Ooh,
I see sometimes they can, have that little whatever ESP, whatever it is, but I guess if they're not twins, but maybe, I mean, if we do go coma, but we also go abuse, maybe there's like that such a bond between them that they almost do have that sense of what the other one is seeing or feeling or whatever. I don't know.
maybe, or maybe he's just seeing something because this is a dream, right?
Right.
This
right.
is all a nightmare.
Right.
And if you take everything that happens in the movie
Mhm.
as part of a nightmare from Kevin's 4-year-old memories,
Right.
maybe Kaylee told him about this at one point,
I like that.
and Kevin is seeing that in his nightmare.
Right.
And
I get that.
I just got that because I was thinking of other things, like, and this further confirms the abuse thing.
Mhm.
Kevin calling 911.
Oh, yes.
So at one point, Kevin calls 911,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of a weird thing. And if this is Kevin in a coma, maybe he's remembering a time when he called 911 on his dad.
Ugh. Jeez.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Yeah.
So this was what blew my mind the second time. I don't know if you caught this, and I don't know
Okay.
if I'm even correct. But the entity was messing with Kevin a little bit, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
When
Come
Kevin
upstairs.
is on, yeah, that part. But
Yeah.
Kevin on the phone.
Oh,
When he's
yeah.
on the phone, at a certain point in the call, you just see the phone drop.
Yes.
A moment
Yep.
later, Kevin has picked up a flashlight and he's shining the flashlight. And when he gets to what should be the phone, he sees the Fisher-Price phone.
Right. Yes.
So that led me to believe that the entity disguised Kevin's Fisher-Price phone as a real phone.
Interesting.
But Kevin wasn't actually talking to anybody. He was talking into the Fisher-Price phone.
Right. I like that. Yeah, that makes sense. Because, like you said, I mean, everything, if he is in this quote unquote hell, this coma, and that entity is in charge or in control, he can control anything, manipulate anything. As we see with, like, even the house, the doors are missing all of a sudden, the toilet's gone.
Yes.
The entity can do anything. It's his realm, if you will. So I like that theory that wasn't a real phone.
In fact,
like that.
didn't you just text me out of nowhere one day or something? You went gross.
Yeah.
Because Kevin and Kaylee in this movie / dream or whatever, the toilet disappears, like you said, and they slide buckets in place of the toilet, and then one of them goes gross. Yeah, so Kaylee disappears. Kaylee goes upstairs. Let's talk about something I did not like.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about kind of where the story goes or seems to go.
Mm-hmm.
I did not like the jump scares in this movie.
I'm trying to remember just the sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Kyle talked about them as though he was proud of them. And that's great.
Right.
He was like, it's really hard to conceive the perfect jump scare. And we really had to work hard on this. And but yeah, I thought they were cheap. I thought they were. Yeah. I agree. Somebody on Letterboxd, Steven, there was a review on Letterboxd where somebody was like, that's right. If the movie is quiet for an extended length of time and then you suddenly throw in a really loud noise, it's going to scare me. Congratulations.
Right. Yeah. That's just life.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. 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 If it's quiet and we drop something at our house, I will be scared. That's just plain and simple. So yeah, I agree. I think that's
especially me with my headphones on. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be more annoying. Annoying, I think, with headphones on.
Okay, so let's talk about some parts here.
Mhm.
Kaylee goes upstairs. Let's see.
Come upstairs.
You're really good at that.
What? I blacked out. What happened?
Oh yeah, so yeah, the voice, her parents' voices say, "We love you and Kevin very much."
Oh.
So the mom, she sees the dad sitting there. He
Uh-huh.
tells her to look under the bed. And this is where I first
Right.
thought something was going to jump out.
Me too. Yeah. Yeah. You hear someone look under the bed. I was like, okay, here we go.
And I will say this is probably the part that had my heart beating the hardest.
I agree. I agree.
So yeah, she looks under the bed twice. And then when she
Yep.
sits, she comes back up, her dad's gone, and now her mom's sitting on the opposite edge of the bed.
Yep.
And her
Yep.
mom says, your father and me, we love you and Kevin very much. And then she says, Kaylee, I need you to close your eyes, please. And then that's when Kaylee opens her eyes, and then you hear the mom or somebody say, there's someone here.
Yes.
And then bones cracking.
Yep. Yep. That's really messed up.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
At that point afterwards, that's when items start to get pulled up onto the wall,
Mhm.
which was just weird.
Yep. And I didn't like when I was first watching it too, like the Barbie doll or whatever, I forget, whatever doll is
Yeah.
like on the
Yeah.
ceiling. I didn't even catch that it was on the ceiling. I thought it was just on the floor shadowed. So I was
Right?
like, okay. And then later I was after reading articles and like looking at pictures, like, oh, that was the ceiling. Okay, got it.
Yeah, and maybe that foreshadows Kevin later on. The voice later on tells Kevin that it will protect him
Mm-hmm.
and to go upstairs. And then the next thing you know, Kevin seems to be on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Or maybe the entity has put Kevin on the ceiling and the walls too.
Right.
So, but before that happens, so yeah, Kaylee seems to disappear. Yeah, so then the voice tells Kevin to go to the basement.
Yes.
This was another jump scare that I hated because Kevin goes down to the basement
Mm-hmm.
and we hear her voice going, Kevin,
Yeah.
Kevin, like muffled. And sure enough, we see Kaylee's face and she's got no eyes or mouth.
Right. Yep.
And there's this loud noise. And
Yeah.
it's just it's yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But at that point, after that, Kevin he does seem to be alone.
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
And then this is crazy. Then we learn that the entity does have control over Kevin because it tells Kevin to sleep, and you hear Kevin just thump down on the ground.
Right. Right.
And that brings me to another thing that I was going to talk about.
Lay it on me.
I'm going all over the place here, buddy.
Yeah, I like it, man. Do it.
Something I realized the second time, that the first time felt like one long night to me, right?
Right. Yeah, yeah. I can
What
see that.
Kevin
Yeah,
and Kaylee were going through. But then the second time I watched it, I started to realize the passage of time was a real thing in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I thought it was weird the first time when at the very near the beginning when they go to sleep downstairs and all of a sudden like one of them gets up and says, I think it's time to get up.
Right.
And then, yeah. So that's at that point. The second time I'm like, oh, so time is passing.
Right.
Like they've probably been asleep for a while, or asleep, quote unquote.
Right. Yeah.
Also, there's multiple times in the movie where the subtitles tell you that the noise you're hearing is snoring.
Yes. Yeah. 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 You're right.
So the kids are sleeping at certain points. I don't know, man.
Huh.
So time is passing, and then obviously,
well, at the end,
yeah. So
right.
Let's see. We'll jump back a little bit, but yeah, at the end, let's talk about the end because that's where things get really interesting and disturbing if you think about it. The voice says to Kevin, because there's the part where you just start to see parts of the house and the static noise starts to get really loud and intense.
Mm-hmm.
and then it stops.
Yep.
And Kevin says, "How did you do that?"
That was a pretty good Kevin, buddy.
Thank you. And the voice says, "I can do anything. Kaylee didn't do as she was told. She said she wanted her mom and dad, so I took her mouth away."
Yeah,
That's creepy, dude.
that's creepy.
And then it says, "Kevin, come upstairs."
Yeah.
And then, yeah, "I will protect you." And suddenly, yeah, Kevin's on the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so then Kevin's got the flashlight. He sees the door like seeming to go away in the
Right. Yeah, yeah.
distance, going further away. And then, interestingly enough, the subtitles say animal sounds. You start to hear these noises
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
animal sounds. And it's like,
Yeah.
what? So that's when I was like, okay, so is he hearing things from the outside world?
Oh.
Is he on the verge of waking up?
Oh. I like that.
But then we see the shot of all of his toys clumped up at the
Mhm.
end of the hallway,
Right.
and they're on the ceiling, right? But
Mhm.
he's on the
Yeah.
ceiling. So they're on the floor, but he's on the ceiling. So
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it almost looks like they're on the ceiling.
Right.
And that's when the caption says 572 days.
Right.
Another interesting thing that happens at some point, the cartoon music disappears. It reappears at this point. You start to hear it again.
Right, dude.
Man, I don't know.
I got no interpretation for that.
After that, here we
Mhm.
go. Because I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna, we're not gonna recap the entire movie, but I'm
Mhm.
gonna recap this.
Okay.
Because this is what I was. This is, we see Kaylee sitting on the edge of a bed, right?
Yeah.
But she slowly fades away.
Yes.
And it's almost as if what Kevin thought he was seeing Kaylee, but it was actually the lamp shade.
Right.
I think that's what it was trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to the best shot in the movie, my friend.
Lay it on me.
Kevin's got the flashlight.
Mm-hmm.
The flashlight turns off, and we see these two scary eyes in the dark.
Yeah, dude.
And then he turns the flashlight on, and it's the Fisher Price phone. But then that leads to another cheap jump scare, because then you hear a loud noise and like you see the eyes, and it's stupid.
Yeah. Yep.
So then, okay, so this is interesting. So when you think about sleep paralysis, the passage of time, it seems to be like Kevin's nightmare is getting even more disjointed,
Yeah, I get that.
less
Yeah.
concrete. He's
Mhm.
starting to see random things, and we see photos. It's like photos of people he knows, but their faces are whited out. He can't make out their
Yeah.
faces.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interpretation. Is he forgetting what people look like?
Oh, I like that because it's been so long.
Yeah. Like
Mm.
572 days is over a year and a half. So,
Or 30
Or-
years.
or 30 years. Well, by the end of the movie, 30 years.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, just thinking a year and a half, and then,
Right.
yeah, like the nightmare just keeps going. And like one of the most, a scene that annoyed me the first time I saw it, because I was like, what is this? But
Right.
then terrified me the second time, was when we see the edge of the hallway
Mm-hmm.
and we see the blood splatter,
Oh gosh. Yeah.
and the blood splatter appears and keeps disappearing.
Mm-hmm.
And every time, this was maybe the most interesting subtitle to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because the bones cracking was interesting, but this one was even more interesting to me because it said child cries when you see the blood.
Right.
Then the blood disappears,
Mm-hmm.
and then you hear noises again, and as the blood appears, it says older child cries,
Hmm.
and
Right.
the voice is older. So what that's saying is he's trapped in this nightmare, and this is happening over and over again.
Man.
This torture in this nightmare. And it's showing the passage of time, that he's getting older.
Right.
Oh man.
Jeez, dude.
And then you hear, so this is right near the end, because then you
Mhm.
hear a voice say, Mommy, like faint, and it's
Yeah.
distant voice, Mommy. And then Kevin says, Kaylee, can we watch something happy?
That's little Scotty right there.
Right?
Yeah.
Except I never want to watch something happy.
No, after you watched your horror, didn't you watch Dumbo?
Oh, that's
After you
true.
watched
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm Street, yeah.
We'll talk about that in an upcoming episode. if you remember some of my ideas.
Oh yeah, dude.
But then we have, okay, so this was very interesting too.
Mm-hmm.
You have the final shot, which is darkness except for an indistinct face
Right.
that says, go to sleep.
Right.
And then you hear Kevin twice. He says, what's your name? What's your name? And the movie ends. Now, the interesting thing,
Mm-hmm.
my buddy Michael sent me a GIF or GIF, whatever you want to say. I'm going to
Right.
say it both ways to make everybody happy.
There you go.
He sent me one today, and it was that shot.
Oh.
But whenever he sends it to me, I get a notification on my phone, and the name of the GIF
Uh-huh.
says, it always has a name,
Okay.
because it's got a physical or an
Right,
address,
location
a
or
web
whatever.
address,
Yeah.
And it said Skinamarink mom. And not looking at it on my phone, not even on my iPad, but on my little phone,
Uh-huh.
my iPhone, you could definitely see that the face looked more feminine. It looked more like a mother's face.
Interesting.
Now,
yeah. I'm trying to interpret that, because if we are talking abuse, like if the mom was abusive, but maybe she's trying to, this is like her time to try and be better or something. It's him saying like, who are you? I don't know you. I don't know.
or
I don't know, man.
the way I interpret it, which I always like to interpret things as dark as possible.
Yeah, of course.
It's the nightmare telling Kevin to stay asleep.
Wait, say that again.
After like 30 years or 20 something years. What was it? 73 to 95. So that's 22 years.
Oh, geez,
the voice
dude.
it says go to sleep. So it's just keeping Kevin in the nightmare.
Oh, gosh. That's horrible, dude. Oh, negative.
What'd you think about the knife in the eye moment?
That was dark, man. And then his scream afterward, like,
Yeah. Is it a scream or is it just him crying? Did he scream?
Maybe I thought it was a scream for some reason. I just remember
maybe
hearing him and just being like, ugh.
I know he was crying. And then you see like blood on the counters.
Right. Yeah. That was messed up.
Oh, and the voice before that happens is disturbing. He says, Kevin, I want to play.
Oh, yeah.
Then it says, put the knife in your eye.
Yeah. And I was like, excuse me. What?
And it's one of these. It's a box cutter knife.
Oh, gosh.
Like the second time I could hear the sound effect, and it was,
Ugh.
And it's so sad when he calls 911. He says, I hurt myself and I feel sick.
Oh, baby.
What? Okay, so I did love the cartoons.
Yeah.
I was going to mention that. So that was cool.
That was funny at the beginning too, that it was like all of the cartoons in this movie are, not under copyright or whatever, so they're allowed to be used.
Right. Yes.
So that was interesting.
Which I hope is true, because I'm going to use a soundbite later in this episode at the very end. Might have some of that music. So
good. We'll find out.
After Kevin calls 911, the other thing I wanted to mention, there's two things actually that were very interesting to me. First of all, just one thing I forgot to mention is that the voice says you did that. Or did Kevin say you did that?
I don't remember that.
When he shines the flashlight and he sees that it's a Fisher Price phone. I forget.
I can't remember.
But there's also the part in the cartoon where the rabbit disappears and the entity plays it over and over again. on a
Mhm.
loop. Yeah. So I don't know what that means. I just
Well, I
thought
mean,
it was
lots
it
of
was
things
very
disappear in the house too.
Did you get that? I sent you a text today.
I did. Yeah. I
And
was, and I,
did you understand that was the rabbit
Yeah.
disappearing? Okay.
yes. Yeah. I saw it and I was like, I'll text him back. But then lots happened today. So I was like, I totally forgot.
No,
But
that's fine. That's
I
fine.
did see that. Yes.
I also I posted that on Twitter today saying
Nice.
that tomorrow, episode 81 and everything.
Sweet.
And somebody who had not seen Skinamarink responded with, oh, I love that cartoon. And I was
What?
like, wow. And then sent me a link to the cartoon itself. So
No
that's really
way.
awesome. Yeah.
That is awesome. That's pretty cool.
I think, buddy,
Mhm.
I'm ready for 3 questions.
Let's do it, buddy.
Because I think we've talked about this movie enough, right?
I think so.
Who would cross the bridge of death must answer me these questions 3.
Well, buddy, I think we dove into Skinamarink as best we could for now, anyway.
Yeah.
But I will, before we jump into our 3 questions, I will say because I want to know what other people think that watch this, and so, but of course we don't want spoilers. So I'm like, either if you write on Facebook or whatever, or email us. I just want to know, but put spoiler alert if it's on Facebook or something. I don't know, but I just want to hear interpretations. I'm quite curious about this movie after our conversation. I want to see what people thought. I'm
And I'm going to take what you just said one step further.
Please,
but,
yes.
But in a moment.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
You'll see what I mean.
Good. All right. Well, let's jump in then. So this is going to be interesting. What was the best death/kill in Skinamarink?
Well, I think that's unanswerable because I don't think there was one.
There wasn't. Yeah. Okay.
Like nothing definite. So that's
right. Exactly.
N/A.
Not applicable. All right, buddy. So then I think you kind of answered this, but let's let the people know. Was it scary?
I did not think so. I thought it was very far from scary. I'm not going to say that those cheap jump scares were scary at all.
Fair.
I'm not going to give credit to those jump scares because it was just loud noises out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you?
No, but I will say this: if young Andrew had watched this, but as a VR, I think this would have scared me.
Ooh, VR.
Yeah. If this was VR, it would be a very different story, I think.
Wow, dude.
Mm-hmm. I've thought about that with this one. I was like, this would be interesting as VR.
You just blew my mind. I will say this is a case where I do want to know why people if somebody found this movie very scary, why did they find it so scary?
Yeah.
Like I'm going to read up on this more because I want to know why people were scared of this movie.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious.
I can kind of guess, but I still would like to know.
Right. And this might be too like what we were talking about earlier, where people said in a theater, it's different. And any movie, like when I saw Quiet Place, in the theater was the perfect place to see it because of the atmosphere with a lot of people. And this might be one of those movies where the atmosphere really does make a difference. I don't know. I didn't see it. No,
absolutely. Theater, but there's a few movies we've done that I would have loved to have seen it in a theater with an audience if I enjoyed going to theaters with big audiences still.
Right.
I kind of don't.
I'm right there with you, buddy.
But like, Smile, Barbarian, would have loved to have seen those movies with an audience. That would have been cool.
Barbarian would have been a lot of fun. All right. Well, question 3 then. Did you have fun with horror?
No. I will say no initially. Just like you.
Yeah.
You didn't have fun with horror, did you?
No. So I didn't. However, because this is one I don't think I'll watch again, but our conversation was fun. Yes. This was fun to have. And I think that's what's fun to a lot of people is the conversation, the spark, I guess, it brings. Because this was fun. I really did have a good time talking with you about different interpretations and thoughts and ideas, rather than looking at it as face value. I
feel the same way. That's what I was going to say, because I wanted you to say no initially, because I knew you didn't have fun watching this. Just like initially, I didn't have fun watching this, but I did have fun going through interpretations and
Nice.
kind of studying this movie
Mm-hmm.
and growing my appreciation for what Kyle Edward Ball has done with this movie.
Right.
So while I did not have fun the first time,
Mhm.
and quick aside,
Mhm.
I said to you earlier that after I saw this the first time, I was like, oh no, poor Andrew.
Right.
But I also thought, you know what, this is going to be a good episode though.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. Yep.
Even talking about not liking the movie, it might be fun, but it turned out to be way more fun than I thought it would be.
Right. I agree.
Talking about it. So
Yep. Me too. And real quick, before we jump to, I just want to say,
Yeah.
I do think Kyle Ball, right, as the director, he
Mhm.
made this for $15,000 and got
Yes.
it in theaters. And it was a horror movie. I just think, and it became quite a big buzz. So I think that's quite an accomplishment and something I do hope he's very proud of, because that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. And another quick aside,
Yeah.
I was going to tell you this. Kyle Edward Ball in that interview said that the original cut of this movie was 20 minutes longer.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, yeah, that's one director's cut I don't think I need to see. But that's the thing. You said that you don't think you'll ever watch this again.
Right.
But I thought the same thing after I watched it the first time. I was like, I am going to watch this again because I have to for the podcast.
Right. Right.
It's my own rule that I made for myself.
Right.
But watching it a second time was not the chore I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
So that's an interesting thing.
Yeah, that is
But
interesting.
if you ever do watch it again, just remember, watch it on your phone or an iPad
Right.
with a Bluetooth speaker.
Yeah, man. I have both of those.
Yeah. Love you. Love you too.
Okay, Andrew. So I know that you are dying to move on from Skinamarink to yet another really experimental movie, since you told us that that's your favorite type of horror movie, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what experimental horror movie, Andrew, are we watching next?
Eraserhead. No.
Yeah, wait. Damn it. I've already seen it.
Oh, rats. No. Well, I'm gonna quick aside as well. I think people can know this, but we recently, I had just a daddy-daughter date with Kylie. We went out got froyo and went to see a movie, and I said, "What do you want to see?" And Ant-Man was out. I figured maybe that, but she, of course, being the little horror lover that she is, chose Knock at the Cabin. And so we went and saw it, and I told Scotty, and I said, "Hey, we're seeing this in theaters. Just heads up. I'm just curious if you're going to see it." And he said, "Maybe," for the podcast. And that was
Actually, I said no.
Oh, did you? Oh, yeah, you did say no. Yep, you did say no.
You texted me and you said, do you have any, are you planning on seeing Knock at the Cabin in theaters? And
That's
I
right.
said, not really. I'll probably wait till it comes out digitally.
Right. That's right.
And then you said, well, Kylie and I are going to, I almost said Kaylee because of Skinamarink. So Kylie and I are going to see it in the theater tomorrow. And I was like, well, I mean, the only reason that you and I don't do theatrical releases is because it's harder for you to get to the theater to see a movie.
Right. Yeah.
Me, if you tell me that, hey, I'm going to see this movie in the theater, can you see it as well? I can always be like, yes, I will make time. I'll find a time. I'll go see it.
Right on.
So what is our next movie?
Knock at the Cabin.
Directed by?
M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But now, I mean, it's not even just in theaters anymore. You can rent or purchase this if you'd like. Scotty's giving me a look.
Oh, not you. I'm not giving you the look.
I was like, what? Sorry.
We'll talk about that next episode.
Oh, okay. All right. Interesting. But yeah, so if you aren't able to go to the theater or want to rent or buy it, Knock at the Cabin is our next pick. So join us next time for Knock at the Cabin.
Our first M. Night Shyamalan movie.
You were gonna say something though. You told me to remind
Was I?
you.
Oh no, after, not during the podcast. The behind
Oh.
the scenes.
Okay, never mind.
The good people out there don't need to hear it.
All right. Believe it or
It's-
not, everyone, we actually do talk outside of the podcast.
Yeah, we don't just shut off.
Yeah.
Podcast over, computer turned off.
Yep. Yeah, we immediately slam it shut.
Oh man.
Oh, buddy.
Well,
Well,
Andrew,
yeah,
we watched Skinamarink.
we did watch Skinamarink.
They did not play the song at all during
They
the
did
movie,
not.
by the way.
I was right.
And now it's time to say goodbye.
Well, bye.
No. Have a good week, everybody,
Yes,
Um,
please. Yes.
or a couple weeks. We love you all.
We
Thank
love
you
you.
for listening.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Everybody go out and get a Fisher Price telephone.
And send it to us and we'll sign it for you.
Oh my God, that would be amazing if somebody
That'd be
really
so
wanted
cool.
our autograph. It was like, can you sign a Fisher Price phone?
Dude, that's the dream right there.
Skinamarink was your best episode ever. Ever.
Can you sign this box cutter? Ugh, no.
It's still got dried blood on it.
Oh no. Oh no.
All right, Andrew, I love you, buddy.
I love you too, Scotty.
All right. Bye.
Bye.